The camera fades in on a crowded roadside cafe, engines rumbling, laughter spilling from leather-clad bikers sitting around their tables. The sun is just setting behind the horizon, tinting the sky orange. Suddenly, a sharp scream breaks through the chatter. A rich man, dressed in an expensive tailored suit, has just thrown hot tea in a biker's face. The cafe falls silent. All eyes turn. The biker doesn't move. He just sits there, steam rising from his skin, fists trembling. The rich man smirks, but in the next few minutes, that smirk will vanish. He'll be on his knees, begging the same man he humiliated for forgiveness. This is not just a story about pride or revenge, it's a story about what happens when arrogance meets humanity. It all began on a humid afternoon in a small Californian town, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and strangers always stand out. The Chrome Diner was a favorite hangout for the local motorcycle club, the Hells Angels chapter that rode through the dusty streets every weekend. They weren't bad men, not anymore. Most of them were just tired souls trying to outrun their pasts. Among them was Jake Iron McCullen, a man in his 40s with deep scars on his knuckles and eyes that had seen more pain than most could imagine. Jake had once been feared, a brawler, a fighter, a man who had spilled blood for pride. But lately, he was changing. He spent his mornings fixing engines and his evenings helping at a local shelter. The rage that once drove him now slept under the weight of regret. That day, the bikers were celebrating the birthday of one of their youngest members, a quiet kid named Tony who had just turned 21. The laughter was loud, the jokes louder, and for once, Jake was smiling. He hadn't done that in a long time. Then a black Bentley pulled up outside. Out stepped Daniel Royce, a man everyone in town knew, the new hotel developer, rich, powerful, always dressed like money was his second skin. He had come to the diner for coffee, though his expensive shoes clearly didn't belong on its dusty floorboards. Daniel was used to people standing aside for him, and when no one did, it annoyed him out. He walked to the counter, ordered a cup of tea, and turned around just as Jake accidentally bumped into him while laughing. The tea spilled a little on Daniel's sleeve. The cafe went silent. Daniel looked down at the stain, then up at Jake, and his lips curled into a sneer. "You people," he muttered, loud enough for everyone to hear, "don't even know how to walk straight." Jake stood still, trying to keep calm. "It was an accident, man. I'll pay for your dry cleaning," he said evenly, but Daniel wasn't having it. He looked around, saw the bikers, and decided to make a show of dominance. "No," he said coldly, lifting his cup. "You'll learn some manners." And before anyone could move, he threw the scalding tea right into Jake's face. The sound of the splash was followed by a gasp from everyone in the diner. Jake froze. His skin burned, but what hurt more was the humiliation. For a second, the old Jake, the one who solved everything with his fists, almost came back. His muscles tensed, his breath quickened. But then, he remembered the promise he had made to his dying mother years ago: "Don't let anger own you, son." He wiped the tea from his face, his eyes cold but calm. "You should leave," he said quietly. Daniel laughed. "Leave? I'll leave when I'm done teaching you people how to behave." That's when the door opened again. A young waitress, Maya, stepped in from the kitchen. She saw Jake's red skin and Daniel's smirk. Maya had known Jake for years. He had helped her get her brother out of trouble once. She ran to his side, tears filling her eyes. "Jake, are you okay?" He nodded, trying to brush it off, but Maya turned to Daniel, furious. "What's wrong with you? He didn't even do anything." Daniel just scoffed. "He's a thug. Look at him. You think I care?" Jake's friends stood up now, 6 bikers, towering, silent, their eyes dark. Daniel's smirk faded just a little. But Jake raised his hand. "No one touches him," he said. "He's not worth it." He turned back to Daniel. "You want to feel like a man, huh? You think throwing tea makes you strong?" Daniel took a step forward, but before he could speak, Jake said softly, "Strength isn't about power or money. It's about control. You wouldn't understand that." Daniel snorted. "Control? You're a nobody. I could buy this whole town." Jake smiled faintly. "Then maybe that's why you're empty." And with that, he turned and walked out of the diner, leaving everyone in silence. But that wasn't the end. An hour later, as Daniel drove down the dark highway toward his hotel site, his car hit something, a loud pop, then the sound of metal scraping. He pulled over, cursing, and stepped out to see a flat tire. He looked around, no cell signal, no one in sight. Then he heard the distant rumble of engines. The sound grew louder, closer, until a group of motorcycles appeared over the hill, headlights like glowing eyes in the night. Daniel's breath quickened. His mind flashed back to the diner. The bike stopped a few feet away. Jake was in front. He got off his bike slowly, his face calm, unreadable. Daniel took a step back. "Look, I didn't mean." Jake held up a hand. "Relax. I'm not here to hurt you." He walked past Daniel, knelt by the flat tire, and started fixing it. Daniel just stood there, stunned. After a minute, Jake spoke quietly. "You think money protects you. But one day, you'll find yourself on a dark road like this, no power, no help. Then you'll understand what really matters." Daniel couldn't speak. The shame hit him like a wave. He watched as Jake finished the repair, tightened the bolts, and stood up there. Jake said, brushing off his hands, "You're good to go." Daniel's throat tightened. Why would you help me after what I did?" Jake looked at him for a long moment. "Because if I don't, I become the man you think I am." He turned to walk away, but Daniel's voice cracked behind him. "Wait. I'm sorry." Jake nodded once. "Then prove it. Be better." The bikes roared back to life and disappeared into the night, leaving Daniel standing under the vast sky, the wind cold against his skin, his heart heavier than ever. Weeks later, the Chrome Diner got a renovation, funded anonymously. The waitress Maya found a small note tucked under the counter one morning. It read, "To the man I disrespected and the people I judged, thank you for showing me what real strength looks like." And every weekend after that, whenever the Hells Angels rode past the new Royce Hotel, the staff always waved. Because sometimes, the strongest punch isn't thrown with fists, it's the one that lands straight in the heart.